What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So look, y'all, it's pretty much considered a done deal. Even though the fighters have not posted, they haven't posted the fight at all. They haven't made any posts about it on their social media pages. But everybody's saying, look, it's solidified. Errol Spence Jr. versus Keith Thurman at 154, and it's a fight without the straps. At first, I was confused. I'm like, okay. First, I still want to see the fight, for sure. I want to see it without question. Has Keith done anything to warrant this fight? Absolutely not. He hasn't, right? He hasn't, being honest. However, going off Keith's name, reputation, and what Keith once was, and the style that he possesses, it still would be a very good fight. Although I got Errol winning by stoppage, because Keith still, to me, is weak to that body. And I think it'll be a late stoppage. I think Errol eventually will wear him down. But I think once Luis Collazo showed that Keith's soft spot, I think a lot of people took notice, and of course that's what Errol does well. So, for me, I'm like, I can't wait to see the fight, just because you never know how it's gonna go. Keith got a style Errol's not used to, so it's intriguing. So then when I saw it was at 154, I'm like, no, man, I want Errol to fight, put the belts on the line, get you another title defense, and I just thought, like, I'm not ready for him to move up at 154 until he fights Terrence Crawford. So I'm like, nah, I don't want him to try to move on until he fights Terrence, right? So, again, I'm intrigued about the matchup. Does Keith deserve the matchup? No, but PBC is going off. It's going to sell, though, because of Keith's name and reputation still. And people are going to be intrigued because at one point, this was a fight that everybody wanted to see at one point, right? And yet and still, Keith Thurman is a better opponent than anybody that Terrence Crawford has faced in recent memory outside of Sean Porter. Seriously. He's a better fighter than anybody that Boots has faced and anybody that Virgil Ortiz has faced as well. So, hey, it's still a very good fight on paper, regardless of what you think Keith is, even though you think Keith is, some of y'all might think Keith is trash and beyond his time period, right? And beyond his prime. Right, but again, I wanted it to be at 147 so that we know that the Errol Spence Terrence Crawford fight is still going to happen, right? But anyway, in light of this fight being the rumors about the fight bubbling around, Mr. Timothy Bradley has come out again on Fight Hub, and they asked him what he thought about the fight between Errol Spence and Keith Thurman at 154, and Tim came out and just straight called Errol Spence a liar. He called Errol a liar, positioning this whole thing like Errol is running from Terrence, right? Because he hasn't made the fight with Terrence yet, and he's moving on to fight Keith at 154. And I'm like, okay, calling Errol a liar, saying Errol is running, all this and all of that. And to me, bro, like, listen. Again, I'm an Errol Spence fan. I'm not, you can be critical of Errol all you want to. That's fine. But to me, like, when Tim does it, Tim is like, he's not objective. He's not, he's extremely biased in my opinion because he has a close relationship with Bud. And a lot of times that's how it is when you have a close relationship with a fighter. And even though Tim is a commentator, he's supposed to be down the middle of the line, but he's a top-ranked employee. And that's where he established his relationship with Bud. And that's what he's sticking to. He ain't going to ride with nobody on no PBC side, really, for real, unless you maybe Deontay Wilder, maybe. And I don't even know that he ain't gave Deontay no, he'll get Deontay props here and there. But other than that, he ain't fooling with nobody PBC, right? But then he started talking about, Errol running from him, so on and so forth. But this is the thing that I don't like when Tim does this. Because he won't say some of the other things that occurred. Errol Spence signed his portion of the contract. Terrence Crawford was asking for transparency, which allegedly held up the fight. But then it was said that Terrence Crawford got transparency, and then Terrence said he never got transparency, and he didn't provide a contract to show that he didn't provide transparency, so nobody really knew what happened on that end of everything, right? Now, and Tim brought it up, that now it was said that, afterwards it was said that Terrence came to Errol with a $25 million deal. However, Terrence couldn't provide Errol Spence with who the person was that invested in the fight, and there was which was a lack of transparency on Terrence's part, right? Because Terrence was asking for transparency from Errol and PBC, and then he wouldn't give Errol transparency on who is the person that's invested in this fight? Where's the 25 million coming from? He wouldn't give Errol that transparency on that. So that was a stalemate too, right? Then Terrence was negotiating with two different companies, right? PBC, BLK Prime. And to me, that shows that Terrence may not have been negotiating in good faith when you got negotiations with two different parties, right? Then Terrence walked away from his negotiations to fight Errol to go fight David Milk of Magnesia. You know, and the thing is like, so when Tim says Errol is running and he ducking and he running at 154, we never once saw any criticism of Bud walking away from his negotiations with Errol to go fight David Milk of Magnesia, Amnesia, and it was a fight, there was a venue, all of that was picked out already, which shows they had been in talks. He never criticized Bud for being like, yo, Bud, you say you want to fight Errol. How was that in good faith when you had y'all had the date, the venue, all of that? The purse was all set up, you know. Then, you know, you just went and got that deal signed, sealed, and delivered expeditiously. So he never questioned if Bud was really moving in good faith the whole time. Never questioned that. But if Errol go to 54, oh my God, he running, he ducking. It's like, my thing is this: if you can question Errol, but if you gonna do that, also question your man's too for certain things that he did. But he not gonna do that, and we know that, right? You know, but again, I don't. It's just crazy to me because Terrence. I mean, yeah, because Tim will say all this about Errol and trash Errol, but I'm like, yo, your man's went and left the table, negotiation table, to go fight David Amnesia, a dude we didn't know about who best win was Josh Kelly and 45-year-old Sugar Shane Mosley. So it was like, what? How you gonna come with that angle anyway, man? Right? So, all right, man. But for a while, Tim has been throwing shots at Errol for a little minute. And if I'm Errol, I promise y'all, I couldn't be Errol. Because dudes be talking like this to me, and I'm a cool, calm, collected, I'm a cool individual. I'm even keeled for the most part. I'm mild-mannered. But once you start calling me a liar and all that, I'm on your ass. I'm coming out saying, boy, fuck you. That's it. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say that. Because Tim be talking like he got animus in his voice. Like he can't stand Errol. He hate Errol. Like he be talking, like the way he say it, I be like, oh, man, bro, you can have an opinion, but the way he be saying it, I'd have to check Tim ass. I would have to. That's just me, right? Because Tim be talking greasy and he's scared. He running. He talk all Errol running stuff. But as I remember, it was Tim Bradley who ducked Errol Spence when Errol was Tim's mandatory. Tim decided to up and retire, right? So it's like, hold on, you saying this dude running from him, but I remember when Errol was your mandatory, you decided to up and retire. So it's quite funny when it happens, right? But yeah. Anyway, after analyzing the whole thing about Errol fighting at 154, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm hoping this is the plan. And I don't know what Errol is thinking, but I'm hoping this is the plan. I'm thinking it's what it may be. Errol moves up to 54 to fight Keith Thurman. It's not for a belt because Errol doesn't want to give Keith a title shot because Keith never gave him one. So instead, he like, look, Keith, I give you a payday, but you ain't getting that damn title shot. I put that on my mama. I put that on my life. I wasn't going to fight you for give you no chance at this belt. It is what it is. First, he said he was never going to fight Keith, right? So now Errol got to stand on it some type of way by saying, look, I'm going to fight you, but you ain't getting no shot at this belt. So Errol doesn't seem like, Errol got to do that to make it seem like, look, man, I still run this show. You know what I mean? I still am the boss of the boat. And he like, I'm gonna throw my weight around, but I'm going to let you, okay, PBC want me to get this off maybe. You know, we can get this fight in before I fight Terrence. We can get it in. But it's going to be at a different weight class, which will, I guess, make it a legitimate reason why we're not fighting for the belts at 147. And then after I go in and I dust you off, after I fight you, I'm going to go back down and fight Terrence at 147. Now, the thing would be this. Now, I think because nothing is absolute in boxing. I got Errol winning, but things, you never know what could happen. If Errol is to be victorious against Keith one-time Thurman, I think he's going to try to go back down and fight Bud at 147. If they can't get the fight at 147, I think Errol's plan is to go and just move up and stay at 154. Jermell going to fight Tim Tszyu. and then possibly move up to 160. Jamal gonna move up to 168. I think they're gonna move up in that type of order, right? I think that Errol he's only interested in fighting at welterweight now, from now on, if it's Terrence Bud Crawford. That will be his last welterweight fight. After that, it's gonna be at 154. And some people are like, oh, he trying to hurry up and run from Terrence, right? Now, I said this. Terrence said he always wanted to be undisputed. Errol says he always wanted to be undisputed. So the fight should happen at 147. For sure, right? It should. But in some weird, strange way, it don't happen at 147. It should still happen at 154. It should still happen at 154 because Terrence often said that, what Terrence say? He always threatened that he would go up and whoop on Jermell's ass, and then he'd come fight Errol back and forth, you know what I mean? And he said he would move up and whoop Jermell's ass. So if you're going to move up and whoop Jermell's ass, he can still move up and make the fight with Errol at 154. However, I feel it on this level from a fan standpoint, it needs to be at 147 so we can have a undisputed champion at the welterweight level. We need to have that, right? But if it ain't given to us at that point and Errol feel like he can't go back down at 147 after being at 154, you can have it at 154. I still would like to see the fight. I was just hoping it would be for the belt so we can have an undisputed champion at 147. But I mean, it is what it is. As long as we get the fight, I really don't care like that. But I still would have liked to seen it at 147. So I think that what it's going to be is Errol going after, if he beats Keith Thurman, he's going to go back down to 147, fight Terrence, because he don't want Keith to get a shot at the welterweight titles, which is petty, but Errol's still trying to make it. He gotta make himself seem like his word is law in some type of way, because people gonna look at him funny style. They're like, you said you was never gonna fight Errol. You say you're your own boss, so he gonna say, look, well, I told Al and them I ain't fighting him. If I'm gonna fight him, we can get this paper, because it's gonna generate some revenue with Errol and Keith. It's gonna sell. Keith got a crazy. He talk crazy. He talk slick. He talk shit. It's going to be a whole bunch of shit talking fest, especially because Keith trying to get himself back in the limelight, back in position to be a mainstay in boxing once again. So he going to talk crazy. The back and forth going to be crazy because Errol is usually a Tim Duncan, even kill, nonchalant individual. But I think in this fight, because him and Keith Thurman have friction, it's going to be some shit talking back and forth where Errol going to be talking crazy and it's going to sell and it's going to do some good numbers for sure. And PBC can be a good thing for them, right? But Errol like, listen, I'll do that and make this money, but I ain't fighting him for the belts, Al. So it is what it is. So I think he trying to not fight Keith for the belts, then go back to fight Errol for the belts, for undisputed. And then if they can't get the fight going there, he gonna move up to 154 and then go and try his hand at that division. But yeah, man, Tim talk crazy. But my thing is that Tim he's not objective. He's very biased in his criticisms. Because if you wasn't biased, you would criticize your mans for the route he took by fighting a dude nobody in the boxing world knew. Even esteemed trainers didn't know who the hell David Avenesian was, right? And I can argue, people saying, oh, he fighting Keith. Keith ain't shit. Keith ain't nothing. Errol is taking a tune-up, whatever. And again, I can argue with y'all, yeah, Keith ain't, from what we know, Keith ain't what he used to be. And, I don't know if that Keith going to show up. I don't know. Keith ain't what he used to be. But even with him not being what he used to be, Keith is still a better name than majority of the people on Bud's resume at 47 outside of Sean Porter. He's a better name than everybody in Booth's resume, better name than everybody on Virgil Ortiz's resume. Honestly, for sure. So it is what it is, man. I'm interested to see the fight, and I want to see how it plays out. But Tim is really, really biased towards his mans, and he throw a lot of crazy talk at Errol, and I think eventually Errol gonna have to say something to dude, because Tim be going off a limb, positioning law. He running from him. Errol's scared. He running from Terrence. But it wasn't, Terrence wasn't, he never said Terrence was running from Errol when he stepped away from the negotiation table and went to go fight a dude like David Amnesia. You know what I mean? Dude we didn't know, a dude we knew Bud was gonna whoop on, that we knew had no chance in hell, as Vince McMahon's theme song says in WWE. We knew he ain't had no chance in hell, didn't have a shot in the dark in the industry of sharks that's surrounded by water. Like, listen, it's not, bruh. He didn't have a shot in hell. So, and we knew that. But he didn't have a question when Bud went to go fight David Avenesian, which is crazy. But anyway, man, Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm out, y'all. Peace.